Okay, the last one went down. I don't know why. Good. I wonder if it's up. Let me just see. Let's go see on the other. Pretty quick. Or if I got like, maybe it was because I was watching Patty the porcupine. It's a cute creature. It was a Canadian porcupine, northeastern porcupine. Let's see if it's still up. What happened to it? Did they delete it? Okay, well, just repeat the same thing over and over again. It's not up yet. Maybe it's not up yet. No. What's up in my head? I need to go on walk. That's how I look. That's how I look when I look in the mirror. I don't know why. Okay. I'm sure it'll pop up. Just repeat the same thing. You need to, and maybe it's because you're watching the YouTube video in the background. That's copyrighted content. I'm feeding apples to the porcupine comes to report. Probably. I'll turn the sound on. You need to get the in progress police grounder device that is lending itself way too well to a sexual assault tool out of custody or out of custody. You need to get it into custody and out of commission. It's just the guy doing it. Oh, which is going to be a specific kind of guy. But yeah, which I described. I don't know who was watching. Probably lots of people. Maybe it'll come up. Maybe 11 years. It covered like it's very important to get that thing off the airwaves, off the cell phone tower, and everybody where else it is. Really. No, please get these men into custody. Please get these men into custody. put those away since this is actually like wake you up tea. Since that one apparently went down, maybe it'll come up. It'll probably go up. Takes them a little bit to process, I think. Yeah, that's still on your body, asshole. Excuse me. Well, it is, and you are, technically. Normal. My mother is sending me pictures with their new puppy. He's so cute. It's like a chocolate brown Mickey. It's so adorable. I can use my hairbrush again. Because I walked and it was hotter today. This is just in case the other one doesn't come up. The in progress police grounder. That's I was noticing in the library because they can follow you on your cell phone. I don't know. Could you hear them talking? Because it was the same guys. Really? Oh well, quite obviously it's the same guys. No, I can't hear them talking. Because that's not how it works. I was wondering if you could hear them talking about stalking me when I left the house on my cell phone. Although I'm not sure. I was wondering if you could hear them talking about it in the house while I was out. Although that might not be how it works. I'm not sure. Because they follow you around on your cell phone also. And the in progress police grounder is obviously on. You need to get it. They can sexually assault you with it if you have your cell phone turned on. I was at the library and I turned my cell phone on to sign into different accounts. So I could email out through the FBI. And I said this, it simply is a thing. If a thing is a thing, then you need to go figure out what else is, it just is the case. It's actually occurring. So you do need to do that. The in progress police grounder lends itself too well to a sexual assault device and has been used and is being used and has been used for many years. Here, they did not have the in progress police grounder, which I believe is just something maybe to be used to catch a mugger as he, or a guy who stopped and is now running across a field, and the police have to go to the other side of the field to, call a guy to meet him on the other side of the field, and it just grounds on the body. But it's actually physically I think it might actually ground in the body. Really, yeah, it's technically almost. Then they have a crowd scanner that they talk about. They can really see intimate parts of your body, like a TSA scanner. And I believe it's a crowd scanner for stuff like Stephen Paddock, where it's just checking for guns in a guitar case. The Crowd Stalker, I believe, does have also some audio, so it can zoom in on crowds and hear things it's like a satellite, although maybe it would be something. So Google Little Yellow Man is pretty advanced in these guys' hand. The fact that these men in Arkansas, that are obviously the lowest men in all of Texas, Mr. Bleep, 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 that you can hear on the heavy breathing phone call app, have access as this is a maintenance man. That there's just the fact that if you are this bad, a pedophile sex offender that would use an in progress police grounder, police have to, really hone in and solidly be on, as opposed to just a little GPS or following the man running across the field. All of this tech is very real. If they would use it as a sexual assault tool and device, this device has been used as a sexual assault tool many times in the stories. Now that I think about it. There's almost widespread use of this. It's not, in fact, it is just the facts. You need to go check. There is a group. I'm thinking they are professionals. They are professionals. You are a professional. I said this last time. If you are a professional in the field, for example, if you are a cable installer, a tech person, you would have to have access, I think, to professional technology, or know how to do it very well and to access it. For example, Walter White is in fact a professional in Breaking Bad because he's a chemistry teacher, because he's got a chemistry degree. So you would actually have to be someone who had worked as a cable installer. In this case, it is law enforcement, security, maintenance personnel, I believe, is actually what these men are. I think in other stories it's been that too. I know V-chip stalking how is often is a professional crime, since people but I believe it also organized criminals who are burglars and drug addicts have used V-chip stalking to case neighborhoods, but that's a professional. That's organized criminals, as opposed to a disorganized criminal knowing how to do it, maybe because he knows somebody that worked for the cable company, that kind of thing. So this, whatever I'm experiencing, is in fact professional crime. In this case, it is out of my same perps in Arkansas. I recognize like I said, the sons of bitches refer to things from 8 years ago, where my mother and I were sitting at the flea market eating fish and chips at the cafe there. So just a random event way back in the day. So you need to go shake my perp tree and see what falls out. And then you need to get all the technology they're on. You need to understand how it works. And you need to see how badly, as the guy who is in the room with the inaudible noise, with the extremely extroverted schizophrenic men that are as loud as possible, and then their actions match up to what they're talking about. The inaudible noise is incredibly insidious in their hands. And in general, there's no need, police would no need to declare anything, really. I'm not sure, you're not looking for Jimmy Hoffa's body. You don't need to say this is the ghost of your mother, and you need to move the body. The police are where it is, and then follow them to see where they go. Okay, that's a Looney Tunes cartoon plot or a Batman cartoon plot. I mean, I'm not sure. Not sure if it's ever been used for that. It's in the wrong hands. You have too many people with access to in-progress police tech, which would require a warrant or a sane person. This is very obviously all, Aunt Sabrina would never do anything like this, being raised by better people and a nicer person, and it didn't affect that part of her brain. These are males that are degenerate, that are criminal. Technically, I know that technically the mental health disorder would be disease, defect, and lowness, and male. This is very, very, really, this is not, and this is not normal males. There's not, no, it isn't. They do not engage in these behaviors. This is a very diseased and defected group of males, quite obviously, but they don't engage in behavior in these ways. The fact that they've congregated where they've congregated and are able to long distance to continue to stalk, the fact that this has been reported to every office, my crime is so weird to go to every office with, says that there is very serious problems with some kind of organization in the infrastructure through human resources, where there's a very serious corruption. I was talking about last time, as far as I can tell with the corruption, it is actually more of it's more like CEO corruption, really. Yeah. And it's individuals. It's guys that are actually individual. It would be if Steve Jobs, or I'm trying to remember the founder of Amazon, really were bad guys, as opposed to really, and then friends of theirs, really, and things like that. And then because you have a company of this developing, there are public sector companies that have, and because of that, now you have this promoted everywhere. You may have been feeding terrorists. Technically, you're feeding criminals. If something's like a Chucky Lee Bird company, the Saturday Night Live skit, things of that sort. It's just people know these things from those things. This jurisdiction stuff does not exist technically, legally. And it seems like company troll behavior. I'm not sure what. There's lots of replicating. There is corruption in what people associate with corrections, almost corrections administration, and if we're to define where criminal corruption seems to come out of. What it just says, what that's what people describe. They do all describe something of Zeeks from Zebulon, and then different various kinds of Zeeks. Okay, well, because when Paul talking to the populace, There's a lot of normal world out there, but this is actually a very big corruption issue. And you do need to fix it, because if taking my case because my evidence is fabricated, and therefore it is an open and shut case of crime. Really, yeah. There's no arguing, as long as my evidence is fabricated, that we're not dealing with a criminal situation. You're just never legally allowed to fabricate evidence, much less this evidence. He likes to say stuff about the emails and like, quite obviously, if the picture evidence is fabricated, and I'm not actually up for stalking or something. And quite obviously, he's a stalker, but I'm not up for stalking. I mean, I'm up for stabbing. Oh, and so and stalking. So quite obviously, if the picture photos are falsified, then the emails are falsified by the same person. They say forwarded at the top, and they're in gobbledygook, and by the same person or persons. They do appear to have accomplices that are like in the room with them that are them. Also the perps, not just the ones that are all hanging out with him. And the 6 degrees of separation between these guys that are stalking here is very close to the people that the authorities in respectable places like the Wake County courts and such are on the phone with. Yeah, so that's pretty epic. But it is in fact the case. Fabricated evidence. The problem with it being, it's always been in progress ever since, and it's as in progress as possible now, and it's the same damn monsters. You hear stories like this where you do have stalkers that, just build a house in the crawl space in the walls. Like for 10 years, the guy is like trying to live there, and we're not sure why. And it's a schizophrenic man. They might be functional somewhere else, kind of more. I'm not sure, really. It is just the facts. And that has been what's going on. I've been neighborhood pornography and stalked ever since by the same men, which I've reported every week practically because it's so bad. You can see the progression of the different technology used in the stalking. There is definitely, in your reporting of it, and it's a genuine experience, a person that is being neighborhood pornography. There's definitely some kind of device and other active that they are constantly interacting or mirroring your internet account, watching everything you do on the internet, cutting your phone lines, sorting your incoming mail. I mentioned, like, because I read it off, like it says, he tried to block outgoing emails. We said he knew what it did to be over. It can't be over if you are sexually assaulting me 24/7 with the in progress police grounder. The in progress police grounders are very, very dangerous. Does that make sense? He wants that to get to the point. You need to stop stalking me and be out of my life. There's a restraining order. I'm alone in my house. You are not allowed to stalk me with every device law enforcement could possibly have at their access. Las Vegas needs to block these men. These men are not allowed to stalk in Las Vegas, and they have to be taken into custody now. These men are very seriously breaking the law. There's obviously very serious problems with the groups of men being completely above the law, even if they are what sound like the town maintenance men. Yeah, this sounds like very, very low law. There's nobody in my stalking that I can place as anybody with any sort of high functioning behavior, really higher functioning than extremely handicapped dude. But that does in fact, there isn't in my evidence either. I mean, that is some weird handicapped evidence. No, that's handicapped. Most people, it also says this guy is just over there in an adult potty diaper doing anything, really. Yeah. And that he just has gotten away with it for so long that, and people don't stop him, that he's just kind of over there doing about anything. I mean, most people, if they were going to, maybe wants to be caught in schizophrenic, like heavy breather from To Catch a Predator or something, where it's sort of like, well, they let me do anything, or something, because like, well, yeah, they're kind of tee-hee-hee. That could be, he literally goes in tee-hee-hee. Really? Like, okay. And then he's going to still hurt them and do that, which is the in progress police grounder. Get the technology they're using and then see who else they're using it on. If your cell phone's plugged in, they can get to you pretty good. If on the in progress police grounder, there's some kind of device in my house, which is just making it uninhabitable. completely, but I get up and move away from it. It's some kind of tense therapy. It's extremely offensive. You need to get this. I've heard this story multiple times and experienced it before, but in different as described. There's just the facts. Like I said, in the last one, I think it was that or the one before. I can remember standing there with my mother in Florida, and my mother goes, telling a police officer, follows around for like 2 months and then wandered away. Really, yeah, they out of law enforcement, security personnel offices, I believe, in different areas in probably the Armonk, New York, Richfield, Danbury, New York area. There's a lot of big companies up there. There's a lot of money. Somebody was I don't know what, it appeared to be low-class men that were in fact somehow connected because our house had been empty. I think it's just what set it off. For like 4.5 years, we were on the law enforcement security maintenance personnel man list, like a law enforcement maintenance group. And they were simply very, very rough, googly criminals. And they were casing the joint and doing something on like V-chip stalking and stalking. I remember my mother in New York, and then the Boca Raton, I think it was unrelated. I think it was just, there was all pervasive out of law enforcement security, like maintenance offices is what I would pin it on. Then just cruising the neighborhoods, in nice, expensive neighborhoods. I remember an expensive, like maybe the thing said something about it. It had an audible noise. I've never heard a voice in my life, in my head or outside of my head. Yeah, I think I would have cracked a million years ago if I was like, if you see here, I mean, that thing is electrocuting the ever living bejesus out of me and aiming for the spots on the police ground. Like if I sound like I'm freaking out and I'm completely losing my mind, I'm just really, really mad and it hurts like the dickens. I'm being electrocuted and sexually assaulted, not to be like absolutely awful. That thing kidnapped me after 10 years of stalking. I reported every week in related. The men stalking me have not turned it off. Really, like it's just a 24/7. Yeah, we're not paying tax dollars to do this. Really, yeah. These men are not licensed, certified. I'm not sure they're not committed to doing an accountable job. Instead, they're terrorizing neighborhoods. You actually need to really clean this up. It is a bane of the American dream to have a nice, normal, happy, healthy, non-criminal offending life. So as the other places discussed where this stuff gets out, where corruption and it is out of public sector gets out. But as far as non-accountability, it's just a fact. But I can remember my mother in Florida, there was a big like consignment, like swap meet, yard sale at the Boca Raton Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club parking lot. And something I think followed us home from that, but I'm not sure. But maybe somebody just said something about it. Something just cruising the airwaves. Same kind of guys. It is creepy. It is the same guys. I had a friend, and I think it was in Pensacola area, Gulf Coast, Florida, in the 2000s. That she went down to visit relatives, and they were doing something with her. No, it wasn't her stepfather. They were doing something with her stepfather and a boat and boating. She said she was so badly like stalked in that year or something as a kid. In the 2000s, and something, because women talk about it, the sorority talks about it, and it was something in the Gulf Coast area of Florida. And when I put these things together, Florida definitely has it. What it is you have these law enforcement. She said there is a cell phone app that can rape you. Really, yeah, is what I remembering this badly. It's like and it's violent and it hurts and it's like TENS therapy, and that we were definitely getting stalked like very badly. I was getting stalked, and because they're well off people, but they own businesses and things like that. She was just wondering if it was like professionals out of CB radio, because they might have owned. I think they owned like some kind of like shipping and receiving and trucking company of their own and things like that. So she was wondering if it didn't have something to do with business. Maybe it was just some kind of stalker because she's quite pretty. Because I think they're doing stuff with boating. There were men around. I'm not sure, really. Yeah, somebody owned some kind of trucking business, but they own the business. They're well-off people. And she just said that she was wondering. She said there's a professional and it was rougher men that seemed like something like that. And she said it was hard. Somebody picked her out. She said my friend said there is a cell phone app that can RPE you if they hook it up to something. And she was talking something about like, it seemed like professional men, they have CB radios, they have cable company, and like cell phone. So a professional, so like a man with a chemistry degree. Yeah. No. And in relation to cell phones and grounders and all this other stuff that people with professional companies might use. And because her family like owns a company of something, they own their own franchise company of something. She thought it might have to be something out of that. But it was rougher men. And there's definitely a cell phone app that can rape you, that will sexually assault you with like electric, vibrating massage and tense therapy. Apparently it hurts and it beats you up. And I've actually heard this story from multiple people in Florida. So I think they have the stupid things on. You need to get law enforcement grounding stuff. Yeah, this is in the 2000s. They were like, kids, 17-year-olds, it would have been, I think, at the time, or younger people in their 20s. I'm trying to remember. There is definitely, it's they don't want this sort of known. You need to clean up corruption where you have men that are above accountability. That is definitely a true story. I think I've heard this story multiple times in different places. There are people that use it for this. There might be other groups that are aware. The problem is what you're doing right now with the in progress police grounders. There are groups that are aware that's something that can be done. I don't know who would, when you figure out what's the tech being used in this, which these men have been as nastily as possible, talking about sitting in cubicles and sitting in a cubicle right now and just following little girls home and sexually assaulting them. I don't know if you can hear the inaudible noise. I assume you can. As far as what I know about, there's absolutely no almost way you could block. You might be able to block it slightly, but there's no way you could block a microphone recording and recording. And I know enough about things. There's no way you could block a microphone recording any noise that's actually there. So if I can hear it, then you can hear it. So, and it says stuff like CLITTY boot her, and I'm going to aim for that on her, sir. Okay. No, I remember my mother standing there in the Boca Raton one cruise in the neighborhood going like, it was on the roof or something, really. Yeah, you had, Boca Raton is a human migration route from the Armonk area also or something. Like if you're doing a human migration route, or if you're really, yeah, there's lots of the same stuff or a little bit somewhat there. So if you're there and you came down with a group, then whatever was in the other place is probably going to be there too. Yeah. Or I'm not sure, but yeah, something like that. It went away after 2 months. That thing had something that it hit your body with. Scared the ever living crap out of me, and I left prefigured in the air. And you could hear like a gravelly voice on the cable box. I'm positive it was on the cable box. Like it was coming from the cable box. There was a cable box in my mother's bedroom, and I can remember sitting there watching TV, and the gravelly voice said something like, "Did you enjoy the swap meet?" Okay. So and the like that no. Oh, okay then. Like 3 feet in the air, ran off screaming, got my mother. It was very gravelly and it was inaudible, but it was gravelly. So this heavy breathing thing where they made it so that they can like, the heavy breathing thing is old, really. Yeah, I'm absolutely positive. And I never have experienced and you couldn't be sure because it was inaudible, but it was like a disembodied gravelly voice that was, yeah, it was like that. It was awful. It sounded like a demon voice. Yeah. And no, it was outside of it wasn't in your head, really. It came from the cable box too, in mom's and dad's, or downstairs in the cable box, next to it. I think some of this stuff, I think it helped also, really. Yeah. I think it helped if you were next to the cable box almost, because I believe they were using satellite for it to hit you, which is awful. But this is the case. Now I'm thinking about it, putting it together. scared the living bejesus out of me. Yeah. Okay. So no, I'm positive the television could be turned off, but if you were like in the room, uh, 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 if you were in the room near where the cable box was, like if the cable box could be in this room, but if you were right on the other side of the wall, then it was like worse, or you somehow it could like ground on your body a little bit and stuff like that. Really, yeah. It wandered off after about 2 months. There wasn't really anything in the house. I think my parents like that house was like a $500,000 house back in the day, which was a good price, but I think they spent all their money and had moved money that they had that might have been sitting around that they might have been interested in. Um, and no, I believe then it was completely different guys. Just case in the neighborhood again on V-chip stalking. Um, and the V-chip stalking would ground via satellite on your cable box. V-chip stalking is originally I mean, how bad could it be? It's a professional stalker tool. V-chip stalking is you would have to be like Walter White, where you have a chemistry degree. Or, so you'd have to have worked for the cable company, you worked for Cox, now you're over there, you're a guy with kind of like some Asperger's and some weird comic book guy stuff going on. You're over there at the Radio Shack Spawn store. I think now you would actually have to be more professional than that because it's difficult to get on smart devices. So so many cases in the neighborhoods, and if they could actually ground on your body and it could generate like a frequency. And these guys were sex perverts, so they would actually very much so. Yes, men have used this as a sexual assault tool. And unfortunately, what you have now going on out of law enforcement security personnel offices is too much access, or wherever these monsters from Arkansas, because it is the same men. They might have made friends locally somehow, I'm not sure, or have friends locally. I don't know. They do actually pick up people as they roll. It's amazing what runs with these guys. It's depressing what runs with these guys. And then for some reason is not headed off. It seems like with this jurisdiction stuff. So there's very much an ability to ground on the human body via your satellite, via your cable box. Yes, as far as I can tell. There's also a way to talk on to because originally V-chip stalking was like a karaoke speech to text enable. And you hear V-chip stalking as like this awful thing. Gangs used it. I know 2 case neighborhoods. I remember my mom saying there was talking to a young police officer standing there. It was on the ceiling or like in the wall or something. Really, it was on the roof. He goes, "Was it a possum?" And my mother goes, "No, I think it was a rapist." Okay, so it was probably just up on the satellite dish next door. Really, yeah, it's all it was. Yeah, and that's all it actually is. We need to be more aware of this. I know. No, I've never experienced anything like this since. I don't think there's an ability on the cable company in North Carolina to do this. Although these guys found a way, they were just simply mirroring my internet. It was absolute hell on earth. They broke in and put a device in the house to ground on the house, but they don't have something that actually physically, they don't have the in-progress police grounder. Las Vegas obviously has an in-progress police grounder on the cell phone tower, or they have a different device hooked up that can ground quite well in your body and generate enough, like a massaging TENS pulse to rape you, basically, to be a very bad rape sexual assault device. And the in-progress police grounder, which North Carolina does not have. There was lots of discussion about how there was ones somewhere else, and that they were sex fetting as badly as you could hear the damn things now in their other office, really. And now I guess this is the other office. So what absolute googly eyed sex fetting monsters, and the poor children in the background they're doing this to must be absolutely traumatized. I've heard V-chip stalking is used by is used just busts of it where it's used by like gangs of hopheads, dope heads of some sort that are that are doing burglaries really out of places like Zeke's Pawn Shop or something like that, because that's a professional. Professionals aren't necessarily like Walter White or some googly guy that likes computers, like, and To Catch a Predator doing heavy breathing or something like that. This one appears to be law enforcement security personnel offices, which will have, they appear to be really able to bounce around on, they can stalk on cell phones. Whoever in Las Vegas is giving these guys access needs to take it away from them because they are simply like the worst RIPs and neighborhood pornographers and everything else. Oh, okay. My hair looks like I've been swimming or something. Somebody found me from the pool. These guys are definitely not allowed in the swimming pool with children, and you are actually like allowed, or women or anybody else. I get it. I know I'm sweating. I should do my hair. But anyway, that was just kind of, you need to get these in progress police grounders off of things. I can see how it might be like, um, that makes sense. So my satellite, if I'm a police officers have all sorts of, I mean, a police officer could uh, get away with more, really. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if someone doesn't stop them from breaking the law. That's the problem with this created evidence nonsense. The guys who created the evidence needed to get in trouble right away. That's the end of it. Um, my parents filed so many police reports. I'm concerned there's company trolls for other corruption in areas and in area that needs to just be yanked. There's criminals running loose a bit at different times, and then there appear to be criminals running loose at the time that you need to clean up corruption. It's just somebody who wants to get in things to commit whatever acts of organized crime that because these are actually criminal. There are technically criminal organizations where these guys are a result of almost like behavioral crime and the monetary crime and culture, and it's kind of a cohesive thing. And they're out kind of murdering around, running around. There's stuff. There's also stuff that generates money. Behavioral criminals are a problem also. Sort of cycles of crime. Uh, you need to make sure that there. I mean, it was just an absolute lockdown that goes all throughout in all the Fed and state. As to the evidence is created, you have to arrest the man that created this evidence. I mean, I filed all these police reports. Then I'm being stalked constantly by these guys. You can't get these guys into custody. I could. There was some noise with it, like because they can enable the microphone on your cell phone, and these SOBs might have used inaudible noise for a long time. But yeah, I remember a gravelly voice, and I've never experienced it again. Really, there's no. Apparently, the cable company in North Carolina does not have this going on. Really, they might have gotten busted enough. There was a whole bunch of stuff. That's why it's in the like System of a Down song. Really, yeah, it gets used internationally for crime and everything else. V-chip stalking is nasty. It was originally a speech to text enable. You need to. That's correct. Like I don't. Las Vegas might have some corruption issues. Like Raleigh didn't have corruption issues. Arkansas doesn't have corruption issues. Okay, it just does. I mean, good lord. Corruption's a really nasty crime, and you need. I mean, if you're just going to be as nasty as possible about it, uh, too, my evidence is very much created. Um, there's no reason you'd be interacting with me outside of the created evidence. Um, because nothing else has happened except for the created evidence, really, or the man who created the evidence, or someone close to him. Close to him, I think it's just the same guy for some reason. Uh, did something 45 minutes before. Really, it's like what is going on in this picture? There nothing else happens, and it's been doing something periodically throughout. No. He just called my bosses and told them I was a shoplifter, and they wouldn't tell me what was going on. So I was trying to figure out what was going on. So I was taking a picture of him, and the police were outside. They told him the police were like outside to arrest me. So they thought I was a shoplifter. No. Because that's actually what happened. That's what's going on. Because he does that. Well, it looks like they're having altercations there. Okay. Yeah. Well, with that guy, you could have done something to that man. You told him I was a shoplifter. Like I was really surprised with that too. I mean, I was slightly annoyed, but I knew the thing about it though. I was upset by it, but I knew it was the other guy. Really, yeah. But that guy, just that I was annoyed by the thing. Like I wasn't completely sure too. I thought maybe that guy was drunk, so I was taking his picture because I thought he was drunk. because he looked drunk. Didn't he look drunk? He like, icky and drunk. Really. That's actually like a manager that I barely saw. That's like that was kind of cruising, keeping an eye on me, yeah, which is what I noticed. Which, no offense, the guy, he looks a little rougher around the edges. He might just be like a back room fellow, really. Yeah, sometimes like the people they put out, but that doesn't necessarily make him a perp in any way. It just makes him like more of a redneck. He didn't necessarily look. He looked hungover or something. Well, maybe he drinks beer. Really, yeah. Maybe he's the one that the other guy that's a criminal, yeah, somehow associated with him. Really, because I'm it's just a fact. Really, yeah. He looked kind of icky. And the other, whoever is doing all this for the other, it's icky dudes. So I was taking his picture because I thought he might be drunk or something because there was nothing going on. So, but because I was pretty sure it was the other guy, that's actually like the security. That was like a main security person. Yeah. So the fugly looking guy is out in the front working with the like, yeah, out there like looking cute, working with the like, that guy's in the back at Walmart. It just means he's, well, he does. He works for boxes. Okay. Doesn't make him like a bad guy or something. Really. I think I'm not sure. Okay, so that was the man that was you noted the only other interactions you'd had with him is lurking and stalking, like like lurking and popping up and being like, hey, you're like, so a creepy man was lurking and it looks like this guy who looks a little drunk. Okay. So you were there, which actually what happened is my perp called over to my workplaces. According to these guys, he called over to every single one. He called over to Victoria's Secret. He called over, like I'm interviewing for a job at Victoria's Secret there. He called Victoria's Secret. He called the Home Goods. Really? Really? Okay, so he called before and told him to keep an eye on you. And that's a security guard. So if people were acting a little bit like somebody acted like out of like management, like kind of like a you. Yeah. It was because he called and told them that you were a shoplifter or something on probation. So they were just kicking you out as the cops would call? Precisely. Okay. And that's a security guy. Yeah. All right. Well, I've been doing this for like months. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm exhausted. I should put some powder on my nose. It's shiny. Okay. It's very, very important you get this in progress police grounder off of things. I know I can see how it would be. Whatever you have hooked up, the hookup you have hooked up makes a excellent rape device. And you have people who have access. Concern's going to be like people like Epstein or something, but people with, well, I like Epstein, just people that are professionals more, anything. I'm not sure, like these guys are maintenance men that have access to this. And there's been widespread use in many, many reports. And I think a lot of people listening to this, if you lived in certain areas where this stuff was and where there was organized crime of this, are going to recognize the tech used. Really, yeah, you're gonna go, oh my God. And that's what that was. Really, yeah. Like I remember the leaping 3 feet up in the air because the cable box went, hello, little girl. Like, how are you? That's what it sounded like. do I what? Turn it to show time. No, you're a pervert. I'm getting up, and that's an audible noise. I'm not stupid. Yeah. Okay, really. And then all of a sudden, like, well, I don't know. All of a sudden, something's attacking your body and it hurts. You're like, ow, you fell over because that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know that guy, and I would have killed him. Really. Yeah. So who could that be? I'm not sure. You'd have to see at different times. Like the one in New York, which I don't remember the thing physically touching you at all. Really, yeah. I remember a little bit of like, "Hello, little girl, I'm on the TV," and I've never experienced it. I remember that, but quite clearly, actually, now that I think about it, scared the shit out of me. Like I'm sitting there. I mean, I must have been like, it was this summer. We moved back this summer. I turned 9. Really, yeah. It was very, very evil. Really, yeah. It was a very evil stalking, and it was a very evil thing. It's incredibly evil here. Like the men are incredibly evil. Um, I just wanted to say hi. No, it was evil. Really, yeah. It was pure evil. My mother said the same thing. Really, yeah. What did it say? Stalker shit. There was a heavy breather on the phone that called multiple times. It was like heavy breathers are notoriously slightly jaw dropping, really. And it just say, what in the world would ever possess you, really, to ever go there? For heaven's sake, the what with the what now, Bob? This one was like it was a vicious. I remember my parents being very scary. I picked up the phone once for it, and it was like it was scary. I immediately called my mom here. Hey there, little girl. It was nasty. I'm trying to remember how it sounded. Um, it actually sounded like one of these guys. Really, it sounded like a man trying to disguise his voice. Again. Really. Um, it sounded like it could have had like a country accent, even really, too, which was strange. I said like poltergeist. Who'd have Duda from Poltergeist? Yeah, it could have been Southern also. Really, yeah, which was odd in the area. And then through Three Stages, worst Joe Pesci Wet Bandit's character ever, Lenny, the Beast. I remember the guy on the phone sounded like the Beast, and maybe with Asperger's. They got me dirty. I mean, it sounded like a serial killer. It said something about buttholes. I'm like, yeah. And your mommy's butthole. Okay. Here's your absolute positive. I swear. And a penis or something. I mean, they just drop the phone. Mom, that guy's on the phone. Okay. No, it's gravelly. It sounded like the Beast. Like the Beast in this looks like, oh, this is a filthy. He looks like he's from downtown Raleigh or something. He's got puffy hair. They do that. They look like that. They look the same. They hire like kind of across the board for that level of employment. No, just the case. You need to figure out what was wrong with the crime lab in this. When you call the crime labs at different universities, it's not their jurisdiction. There's no such thing as jurisdiction. Who knows? And your name is like John Smith, and your name is Gary, and you teach 7th grade math, and actually you don't teach 7th grade math, and you need to calm down. Okay, you're a notary. You have a notary degree, or well, I was hired for a company now. Okay, you have a real estate degree. I said that it's like the cable guy, with Jim Carrey and the cable guy, or reverse. What about Bob? Or what about Bob? Isn't that movie? Okay, so severely handicapped stalker that's a monster. Yeah, out of town security and maintenance. I know. I remember the conversation with like a younger cop because I think my father was out of town, and it popped back up for like it was unrelated to the other ones, I believe. Really, yeah, the other ones were really nasty in New York. They like didn't turn us off ever or something weird. Really, yeah, like the house. What was so nasty about it was that like the same as like this kind of stalking. That is what was wrong with it. Really, or they were okay. I mean, or they turn us off and they pop right back up. We're like, hey, family, in this house that like was empty for like 4.5 years. Yeah, this is on our roster. How you doing? Yeah. No, I'm wearing your mommy's butt. Okay. Do we know anybody from before? No, and there's nothing in here. Are you sure? maybe your butt, really. I'm 9, dude. Yeah, you think that makes a difference around those guys? They're absolutely foul. The state here has been absolutely foul. Like they're out. You have no say in your government whatsoever. Yeah. It's a failed state of government. Yes, it's a completely failed state of government. Yeah, almost. Isn't that the third world poverty in Somalia with this? And if it was in whatever, there, it would be the same as here. Well, it just would be. It'd be some kind of googly creep and some poor woman. Well, only there you'd be in. I don't know. Just literally, if there's third world poverty where we were and this very bad, really. Yeah. No, it's absolutely evil. You have no idea. It's evil wherever you do not let the predators in the fold. No, you can't. You've got to get this group of men out of anywhere they get into communities, and are not accountable. Unfortunately, you do find them in schools, and you find them in whatever this is. We didn't quite think to like finger our local law enforcement for us, badly. So, as they're behaving here, I think. Well, it's not their jurisdiction. Okay. But you need to get the in-progress police grounder that you need to get law enforcement clearance away from every Tom, Dick, and Sarah Harry that is running loose out of town employees, out of government employees that come in for the thousands and thousands and thousands of public sector jobs that don't require college degrees or licensing and certification is actually the problem. None of the men committing these crimes, I think, are licensed and certification or certified or educated properly for their positions. I think that would be a way to, at all, to weed them out. Of course, law enforcement jobs don't require a college degree, but there's absolutely no reason, and they're supposed to, and supposedly do, hire a good amount of people with college degrees. Lots of them get them, and then you get you get equivalents, and they actually have the equivalents of I would say all the persons are really low functioning and low education and licensing and certification levels as to what they're supposed to have, and they're not. There's no reason really whatsoever any of them, and then they're kind of in mass. I would say almost like all the parts in this. Actually, it's a sort of like a gang identifier, guy without proper credentials and in something through in public sector or more private but public sector employment. It's sort of their company now, so they can hire their own employees. Yeah, which is a problem. There are specific groups, and you need to get the specific groups out. They steal. There's actually there's a lot of money in it. I believe there's just a lot of just random hoodlum stealing and moving. How weird is the paperwork in this as far as stealing? Really, what is it even? Like if you went to some things that are you need to check colleges for them because there's lots of money, really, yeah, and hospitals and things like that. If you went through some of the paperwork for things wherever they are, they leave you need to get private public sector. Yeah, they need a tax on it. Yeah, big time. They need to clean up their monetary stuff because there'd be a big messy pile of money files that are just kind of ridiculous. And I'm trying to figure out where the profit in that goes. I'm not sure. Just go and check. It probably just goes into a bank account of a company that then they then pay themselves out of. Okay. That they own. It's not that well, sometimes they'll pay themselves large paychecks, much larger paychecks than they'll be making $120,000 a year in pay for some crapple and really company exec of like an Aspen Dental company or something, really. Yeah, do stuff like that. Okay, it's a big messy. The Butner thing is, yeah, they're doing it. There's behavioral crime in it too. They were doing it to other people, which was pretty ridiculous. You saw overall the thing's ridiculous. There's no such thing as that. I don't think Hinckley should get like a special. No, for most of it, you just go to jail and prison, and then there's a mental health part of the prison. That's kind of all there is. Butner's got some googly McDougly nonsense going on. It has some hospital nonsense. And then they end up using it actually as a hospital for people that don't. I mean, it was ridiculous. Well, then it's actually a hospital. No, it's not. It was actually like, really, yeah, it was ridiculous. You just have a mental health part of the prison. Yeah. It's not really for profit at all. It's not like there's tons of people that are handicapped going to in jail and prison. Yeah. So there's kind of no, you're not allowed to charge like $50,000 for the handicap downtown. Okay. And they need to check whose that is. It's nasty. You can tell it's nasty. You can tell it's out like stealing and just evil, absolute lockdown evil. It just was. It's been a lifetime of horror because of this. Okay. No, it's not a possum. It's a rapist. My dad was out of town, so it was my mom, my brother, and I standing there with the cop. It seemed nice enough. It was on the roof, and it could be in the in the wall or something. It was on the satellite dish, not on the cable box. Smart devices are supposed to be better, but like that's like they block the jammers. Really, yeah. Maybe to me, people who are buying them, I recommended them. I've noticed things like if I promote something on here, how bad is my phone line cut? Okay, how illegal is cutting my phone line that badly? Really? Yeah, yikes. How evil is that? Also, he sorts out ingoing mail, but outgoing mail isn't like no, he can't block it. It pops up as for some reason there's a tip. I could block the server. Okay, you were told it was over. It was a closed case. Yeah, okay. There's no such thing as that. I want justice in my crime, Mr. Stalker, dude. That is still as in progress as possible. And it's not how it works. Also, you owe me damages, yeah, big time. Mm. But you need to get the in progress police grounder. No, not even just out of criminal hands. You need to take it away. I mean, so they use it to chase the muggers across guys that jumped out of the car and are running across a field to like grab them. Be really on them. So you can ground like inside a dude as he's running away. Really. Well, that would be very improper use of law enforcement technology. And why is it in mainstream hands? So because like security personnel officers watching like crowds, for guns in guitar cases. They also have a body scanner for sure. I can hear it chortling away to itself about I can watch blah blah blah. Blah. Okay, your body in the shower, like your body internally in the shower. Your if you it literally if you fart, oh, he talks about gas coming out of your ass, and there was no sound. Okay, because he's on the body scanner and he's on it 24/7, just watching your body. But yeah, oh, you probably heard him to say stuff like that. So, and you did actually just fart, kind of. Really, yeah. I mean, I'm not. That's a. It's just the facts. I mean, that's how I know. Okay, that's how I know that things on a body scanner. Okay, that's how bad this man is. Like, that's how evil these men are. That there really are evil predators out there that have access to this, and they have been throughout, and they just are. You need to get this in custody. You need to get whatever this is coming out of now, and what has been perpetrating in my crime here, and then in all the years of this incredibly evil offending. It's very, very, very evil offending. They have something that like, oh, you're not supposed to be holding something, so it's like it presses on your arm or something like that. I mean, it's really creepy because it's just kind of sort of ghost like, really. Yeah, it's not like no, you can still move your arm. If I had a gun, I mean, it might distract you a little bit, really. Like it doesn't actually really do anything, really. Yeah, it's just nasty. But it very much does something if he's training it on your body and using it as a sexual assault device. And if you have your cell phone plugged in, it can get to you. There is something on a cell phone, and then it's not that difficult to create some kind of like electronic or electromagnetic pulse or vibration, which this guy is using to touch and scan the, because I guess there's in for in progress police standards, they check crotch areas and things like that. So the thing is really purposefully modified the thing to make it a sexual assault device. You have to get what he's doing on it, and then recreate it and see how bad what this man has been doing, and then who else he's been doing it to, because obviously he is actually interacting with children and things like that, because he's real open about that's what he's doing in the background, which you allowed for this crime. uh, and then also, you need to apply legally. Is there such a thing as jurisdiction in American law? Is there any such thing as jurisdiction in any of this? And then where does jurisdiction apply? Well, you're still his jurisdiction, okay? Because you were convicted out of Arkansas, so you're still Arkansas's jurisdiction. Okay, these guys don't have a jurisdiction because they're Class A felony offenders. You fired yourself if you're a Class A felony offender. Or if you're committing a Class A felony offense. I certainly hope so. And that is a lot of Class A felony offenses. See the little microphone, like, okay, no, it's not going up with me. Is it? Ah, okay, it went up one, sorry. Okay. No. Okay. The inaudible noise app is evil because he uses it. They've used it throughout. Would you see what the hell the law enforcement maintenance security office is doing as far as like secret police of death? Really? Yeah. I mean, what the hell is it even? Yuck. Mama through your hole, little girl twirling on the phone. Okay. Hey. I remember it was kind of like that. Hey. And then something about a butthole. Seriously, I didn't remember anymore. It was trying to like abstract it away. One of the cable box. We moved. That was like it was a big to do. No, really, yeah. I remember my mother being really upset and calling the cops many times. And my father. At first, my father wasn't there along with it all day. Really, that was like a horror movie. It's like, okay, Jesus, what? But by the end of it, they're like in a horror movie, standing in the cop car headlights in the driveway. I can remember it with me and my baby brother, multiple times. They're psychotics. They're technically psychotic. Is the technical term for in psychology and psychiatry. The psychiatrist, the doctor would say that is a psychotic. These men are psychotics. All of them are technically psychotic. There's no such thing as burning the opera house down in front of everybody down this much. It also does. Well, if we were doing it to other people, okay. Yeah. I don't know what the other people had going on. This cycles is something out of this probably. You'd have to go check, and then charging a bunch of money for it. Where the money goes. But it was a very public case of created evidence, and it was a very public case. It was a lot of people were on the phone. It was technically psychotic. It was a psychotic break on the part of the professionals at the Wake County court system. I mean, no, it's technically a psychotic break, especially if everybody's on the phone with you and then you're telling the other guy nobody's calling. It's a psychotic break. It's psychotic. So anyway, that's that. Okay. Let's end that so that it just ends up there. You have to get the in progress police grounder off of the cell phone tower or street lights or whatever you've got it on. You can't have the in progress police grounder because has been used for 2 serious crime here. And that goes for everywhere else there is one. It's used by men that use it in widespread. It's used in a widespread manner to sexually assault It's an absolute rape device. Right? Really, yeah. Unfortunately, if you can follow someone into their home, it's used and has been many times. Whatever the meaning of life is in relation to that, and corruption and organized crime and things like that, it's used as a rape device. Very, very, it has been throughout. Maybe it lends itself way too well to it, but and one to catch a predator guy in one area is like another one. But whatever you have going on, do you have like maintenance men able to access? Um, it's low men. It's googly, dirty. In all stories, it's these like openly offending, googly, dirty guys that the whoever they're stalking and the families they're stalking really are bits on the ground with them. That goes throughout the rest of the men running around the whole of the infrastructure in this stuff, and it's the same kind of stuff, and it's the same kind of stuff, same kind of guys. So it's the same groups, um, but they're very criminally offending, and there's just nowhere to report it, and people wonder why their police um, weren't able to handle the situation whenever it arises, wherever it arises. I'm sure there's lots of stuff like coming in now wherever it is. Really, yeah, I'm sure there's weird wars going on between. If it's in school systems, wherever this group, there is a company that the company is not anything. It's an like a Chucky Lee Berg company. Yeah, like Chucky Lee Berg got a notion to his head with Negan, and they got out because. And then you don't have to put. You don't have to put capital into a public sector, your own capital. No, you can build something out of something that's already there. Yeah, and it's uh, as far as, and then it's for profit in relation to like healthcare and things like that. So they're promoting. That's why they're promoting mental health and things like that, because it's for profit. And then they just use stuff like Monarch or Ozark Guidance Center or whatever to um, to they just use them to do so stuff same as they have here, and then go back to doing their own world over here because it's out of a different world. um, they probably have some of their own employees. Well, that's just what it is, really. And then the thing that is actually a thing, really, that is actually a licensed, certified, has to hire nurses and doctors and things like that, is somewhat better. Yeah, they're not, or it's not. They just don't really. They say I'm not. Um, uh, the other guy's kind of got nothing going on. And, or has something going on, or they'll do something in ADD or whatever. Really. And then these guys go back to running around, through the halls of the institutions over here, somewhere above us. That there's, and they redefine. You need to get that. They redefine reality. Reality is supposed to be a happy, ordinary life. Well, this has been really, yeah. He says that. Well, this is the adult version. Really, it's like, okay. I don't know, Bob. It seems to be the middle school version, also. Um, I know a high school version, according to you, since you go back to the same little girls and boys in the last like week. Well, you just do. I mean, I could think to make it up, I suppose, but not this bad. Really, plus you really are like verifying it for everybody with the, or just in general. Oh, it's just there. You won't stop doing it. So apparently that's just what you do, and it's so bad. There's just no not commenting on it or not reporting it. I mean, apparently that's you're very really a guy that and you don't stop overall. So that's enormously of concern. And then the fact is, it's enormously bad crime you can't endure that you're committing all the time. So against myself and anyone else, your other victims must be absolutely horrified. Um, but the inaudible noise is very insidious because as pedophiles are, um, they want to show pornography to children and then cause like, some kind of like, so they want to talk dirty to children. These men want to scare them. Apparently, they do what they're doing to me. Where it's really fun to stalk and narrate their every sound or movement, just follow your body around on the thing and like pressurize it and all this other stuff. And definitely not a mugger or a robber that pulled his car over to dish and now they're running across the field. Well, we use that for in progress. You're in progress because you reported again. That's crazy. You need to quit with the like boots on the ground craziness, especially the ostrich head in the sand where everybody can see you while you're doing it, and then you. It's just creepy. Also, it's not creepy. But it's psychotic again. Um. So anyway, I'm gonna end this and then start it back up again right away, and I'm probably gonna get ready for bed. Um,